Welcome to the Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight, influential leaders and their game-changing insights. I'm Jacqueline Strominger, CEO and founder of Leap to Your Success. That's leaptoyoursuccess.com. We help entrepreneurs, leaders, and CEOs grow their business, become unstoppable high achievers in their careers and life, gaining that 1% edge. We believe every professional has the power within them to leap to their greatest success that not only will impact their life, but the lives of the people they touch. So stick around to the end of the show and we will share with you how you can be our next guest. So stick around for those 15 to 20 minutes and let's be unstoppable. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight podcast. I'm Jacqueline Strominger, your host, and today I have an amazing guest on. So, Dylan, you have an impressive company, and just to share something that everybody needs to know about is that, so Dylan Evans is with a great company called Simple Salt. And I'm curious about the title of that. But what he does is that he stops internet crime and he demystifies, I can't even say the word right now, demystifies, oh my God, security for businesses with a lot to lose, because we all know security, internet security is so important. There's so much internet crime. And so one thing about Dylan, he takes there's a traditional approach in security to deliver more than just crime prevention. So if you care about actually stopping the crime, there are easier, better, faster, and stronger ways than any compliance checklist. So we all know that this is such a huge area of a topic, and starting a company and having this is so important. So Dylan, welcome to the Leadership Spotlight podcast, and I'm sure you have some great insights to share. So welcome to the show.
We'll see, but I hope I will do well. And this is a challenging thing. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
And I have great sympathy for people who have a hard time with the security industry, because you know what? It's everybody, right? Just full of acronyms and techno jibber jabber and checklists and supposed tos.
Yes. Yeah.
And what we do and what I'm about, and maybe you want to talk about this today, is this idea of legalism. That if I go through the motions of success, if I follow the shape of success, I will get success. I think we've all been in projects where, like, Six Sigma projects are probably the most famous for this, or a digital transformation project. And we go through the motions, or maybe it's a data project, and the value never materializes because we were just going through the motions. And that's what we help companies do, just in this like security field. Help them, if they want actual results, they want to do more than just go through the motions, we can help them do that.
So Dylan, I'm curious about this. Obviously, security and all that stuff, and what you just said, going through the motions, that to me, when people do that, stems from a lack of leadership, personally. Like when I hear that, I'm like, oh, going through the motions mean that somebody at the top is not leading the charge the way that they should. And so I'm curious, tell us about your journey to where you are now and what led you to the company. And when you think about what you just said, what tip can you give a leader so that their team is not all over the place and that they do have that focus?
I'm probably going to miss some of your questions, and I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I can repeat them.
I'm going to start with the last one first because it's the one that stuck. I think the world right now, and especially the United States, is in this like transformation of examining incentives, thinking real hard about what it means to be successful and how you measure it. Because getting that wrong can waste a ton. It can burn your company to the ground, right? We've all called into a call center, and we can tell what that call center's metrics are. It's either closes per hour, the number of customers who give you a good rating, maybe that's the best. But often it's the overall customer experience is poor. And so they spend a lot of time with you stuck in this phone tree, just hoping you'll go away. Mm-hmm. And the damage you're doing to your customers is more than the $4.13 you're saving on customer service hours by upstaffing and getting rid of your phone tree. Right? We've all experienced that frustration. I got a million examples. And I think we're all examining this idea of what does it mean for me to be successful, for my company to be successful? How do I incent my employees and be clear with them about what success is for them? That's hard stuff. And it's hardest in security. Man, it's hard to measure success in our world.
So why is it hard to measure success in your world? Correct me if I'm wrong, part of it is for security, I guess in some cases because nobody's breaching my company and I haven't had data stolen.
Several reasons. The first is people are bad at thinking about risk. You think we are full of rules, right? I'm not going to get hit if I'm driving down the freeway. I'm not going to get hit if I do these things. If I leave plenty of space in front of the semi so I don't cut them off, I'm going to go the speed limit. That's not a guarantee.
No.
But this is how we make decisions, right? And so this is the temptation. Oh, if I follow the rules, I'll be safe. And I think a lot of the time that works, right? If you follow the FDA's rules on beer brewing and you make sure there's not too much arsenic in there, that's a good sign. Everybody's on the same page. We do not want arsenic in our beer. The problem with security is the things that worked, the things that are on the list of supposed tos are the things that worked 10 years ago and 20 years ago. And this industry changes faster than that. And there's almost no overlap between the things that work now and the things on the lists. And that's hard.
That is hard. So how do you so how many employees do you have?
5.5.
5.5. Okay. So out of the 5.5 employees that you have, so half, whatever, what do you do to help incentivize them? Because you shared that's like that can be a bit of an issue, like in companies. Like, how do you incentivize, particularly in security? Like, how do you incentivize your employees?
To me, objective metrics are important because I think this is part of the cultural transition that we started talking about management science back in the 90s, and there was this backlash. It's not real science. It's just MBAs talking big. But it's been burning. It's been slowly improving over the last 20 years. And books like How to Measure Anything and Working Backward, the Amazon self-congratulatory book about how they Amazoned, have really advanced how you take away vanity metrics and replace them with things that are close to what you actually want. It depends on the work stream. It really depends on what their goal is. I don't know.
When you
I
say
don't have
their
any easy
goal,
answers for you.
right? When you say their goal, you're talking about your employees.
Mhm.
So what do you do to find your employees' goals?
Yeah. Boy, that's a great question. So there was a deeply transformative book, at least to me, and it called Never Split the Difference.
Mhm.
And it was written by this FBI negotiator guy, and mostly it was a response to this big sales book in the 90s, Getting to Yes.
Mhm.
If you guys remember, this pattern of the Cutco knife people just bought this. If you get them
Oh,
into
yes.
a repetition of yes, and it was just these obvious questions, and it stopped working because people got wise to it. And they just really didn't want to say yes anymore. And so this book said, what you want to do is get to know, because know tells you something interesting. That tells you what they really want. What your biggest barrier to yourself, to success in negotiating a shared goal or some sort of deal, is not enough insight into what they are looking for.
Right.
And and patients asking questions. Another good book is The Mom Test, just like a practical guide for engineers on how to make sure you get people's real opinions instead of like just the pleasant lies that everybody hands out. I think, yeah, it's doable. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, yes and no. So you're for your employees to get to know them, you're asking them questions. You're asking them what their goals are, and you're getting to know them. And when you think about the success of your employees, is there a metric that is tied to that success? But not just, and I don't mean
Yeah.
just like by their paycheck.
You're right. Yes. I think it differs. And it depends on the priorities. Like, let's say you have an accountant, okay? You want your accountant to present an accurate picture of cash flow, finance, projections every 2 weeks. It's got to be at least 2 weeks accurate. You want them to stop fraud, maybe. If people call in asking for Amazon gift cards, they're gonna shut it down. Maybe you want, maybe there's other things you want from them too. Make sure all the bills get paid. You can create metrics for each of those things, right?
Mhm.
You can pay someone cheap to check on the books. And are are these out of date? Just do some spot checking. Four times a year, surprise audit. You can get someone to try to defraud you.
Right,
Not really,
right,
but and use that as a test for your accountant. Do that
right.
4 times a year.
It's like the secret shopper.
Yeah, a secret shopper your accountant.
Yeah.
And these are programs we've set up. You can, you're never going to completely describe reality with your metric, but I think it's a lot easier than people think. And I think the ultimate goal in a successful metric is, would they rather optimize the metric, or would they rather keep you happy? And if the answer is keep you happy, that's dangerous, because you're going to have crappy days.
Right.
You're going to be a jerk sometimes, and they're going to go do things that aren't your business goals to try to keep you happy. That's not a good long-term strategy.
Right. Right. So, when you're thinking about your employees and leading them, is there something that you do weekly, monthly to help keep them motivated or, yeah, bought into the vision of the
Yeah.
company?
Yeah. We look at our metrics. We're in the middle of reviewing them and changing them. Because anything else, your first idea is not your best idea. If you try to measure something, just like your first time making a sandcastle when you were 3, it's not going to be your best sandcastle. You're going to learn stuff through the process and through talking to your mom about it there at the beach, about how to make a better sandcastle and how to measure more accurately, measure what you actually want. And so we're iterating on our metrics right now. And one thing we noticed is often there's interdependencies between people's work, right? And ultimately, what needs to be true is not you coming down and saying, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. But if you can get this person to drive success, man, that's a whole lot more scalable. It saves you time too.
Right, it does. It saves time. So, where where are you and your team on the journey of leadership? Where do you see yourself going with your team and leading them in 2025?
Yeah. I have such high expectations for them. And I am famous for it, because what I ultimately want is for this job to be fulfilling to them, as good of as much as a job could be. And that means growth. They're going to keep learning and growing, and they're on a positive path with their career. And more than just salary, like 3% raises do not get people excited, right? It's more, do you get to do a new project? Do you get to try something that you haven't tried before? And that's what keeps people coming back and staying with you. Because you're going to get a lot more out of them if they're excited to come to work and they're excited about their goals. Isn't this everybody's dream? Every leader wants their employees to just use all their creativity and expertise to do the best job they can, and you barely need to touch them or their work streams or their work. And the way to do that is to be real clear and get them excited about your goals for them and how awesome you want them to be. But it's demoralizing. Sorry, Maybe this was your next question. What else?
No, I actually think when one of the biggest things about being a great leader is actually doing what you just said, which is basically finding out the goals of the people that working for you and getting to know them. So, what process do you have in place to really get to know people and know and how to get their buy-in on the goals? Because I can set a goal for you, but if you're not bought into it, it doesn't do a damn good thing.
Yes. Amen. So we, like many smaller companies, do not hire in the traditional way. I would
Okay.
say the standard Fortune 500 or even public company way of hiring, where you post the job description of what the last person did, and you use a computer to comb through 10,000 resumes, and then HR does several rounds,
Right.
has is a terrible predictor of whether that person is going to work out. None of those steps, whatever's written on their resume, whatever words they've snuck in to fool the machine, to get like the keyword SEO for resumes.
Right. The AI generated resume for the AI reading machine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's even if the sort of person who will succeed at that process, those skills have no overlap with the skills that you want. So we do not take in or take resumes. Our hiring process is, our application process takes between 3 and 10 hours. And it is rewrite a blog post, make it better, right? We're testing their communication skills, their ability to go research the things they don't understand, because there's some technical jibber jabber in there. And that might take them a while.
Right.
And that's a barrier to entry. And if they pass it, and if they have decent application, we'll give them a chance. And then that's when we find out the real them. Do they have the culture necessary to succeed? Because that, man, I have yet to find a way of throwing a quiz at someone to determine who they are under pressure.
Oh, it's interesting because giving somebody a task like that to do is there's a lot of things about that. Helps you figure out some of their values. Do they have the wherewithal to do the research, ask questions, to do it to the best of their abilities? And so there's a lot that goes into that. So I, I think that's great. I really think it's great to have that type of process in your interview because the interview process is to me, you need to find out if people are a match with where you are with your company and as I call them, your achievement codes. Do they
Yeah.
line up with your achievement codes? So when people have gone through this process, and do you have a sort of what's your success rate with, obviously you've got 5 employees, right? Or 5.5. So how successful has this been? Has it also been a huge opening to a red flag?
Yeah. Of them. So we've hired 8 and we've kept 3, or excuse me, kept 5. So 3 did not work out. And in each case, we figured that out within 3 weeks.
Okay. Which is good to do.
It became really obvious. They were really uncomfortable with the pressures and the expectations that we put on them. They did not like it. They did not like the culture. And so it was a mutual decision, right? This is,
Yeah, no.
They were not having fun. And for the people that did work out, I will say, if you want to go fast, that means you always need to be thinking about what you need to do better, right? If you feel like you're doing great, that just means you have a lack of imagination. There's always a lot more you can do better. And so we actually just launched an MVP for a program to get all our employees mentors, at least two, because it can be demoralizing here. Always feeling stupider than you ever have before, because you're constantly being confronted by your next better thing to do.
Mm,
And I'm very excited about that program.
that's fantastic. That is really fantastic. So you've got your MVP program that you're starting. What are some of your other big goals for 2025? Or I shouldn't say because I don't for the next year.
Yeah, 2025 is a good one. I think we've got some culture goals, but those are hard to measure. Culture is hard to measure.
Hmm.
I have some products that need to get launched, so I need to roll them out. We've got tech products that complement the managed services we provide. Our goal is not, our goal as a company is not to do well by our customers or to create fantastic brands or, I don't know, be successful. Our goal is to create a machine that does that, to create processes and resiliency and skills and culture where those things consistently come out. And I hope we build that machine better and stronger and higher quality than it is today. Because we got a long way to go. And we always will.
If you think you can, then you know you can.
Yeah.
Right? Right.
Question is just how long will it take?
Right. The timeline may always change. We may have to move the deadline, but it's there.
Yeah. There's an inspirational quote from Jeff Bezos in the Working Backward book that the precept he attributes most to their long-term explosive success was being willing to be misunderstood by critics for long periods of time.
Yeah, do you remember back when they started, it was like Amazon versus Barnes and Noble, right? Who's
Right.
selling like books and magazines? And Amazon had such a bigger vision,
Yes.
right?
And every time they launched a new little box at the top, a new product line they were selling, it was a big deal for them.
Yeah.
But you're right, they did have a bigger vision. And ultimately, their managed IT service, AWS, has become the most high margin product they sell.
Right. It's really
It brings in more to their bottom line profit than everything else put together.
Which is actually really quite fascinating. It's truly incredible because one of the other big things about that, and comes down to, again, and I could talk for hours about this, like the leadership of that, which is to bring out the creativity, to help people to catch the vision, to see where it can go. And as you said in the beginning, that first thought or that first idea isn't always the right one. So the first thought may have been, I'm just going to sell books, but no, then it got to be bigger. So it's really, and bringing that out in your people it's really great. So Dylan, how can people connect with you and find more about you, your company, security? Because the service that you provide is really important.
We are on social media. We're not so good at the Google. If you Google us, you'll find companies selling like actual salt for swimming pools and stuff. But we're on most of the things. I think we're not Twitter these days, but I think TikTok even. And we are rapidly iterating on content, trying to demystify this world of security, because, man, there's more misconceptions about it than there is reality. And the businesses that want to avoid getting nailed are being depressingly misserved by the cyber industry. People are spending way too much for almost no value.
So listeners, if you want to check out and basically have some great security and have great value, check out Dylan. I know that he's on LinkedIn, so you can find him, Dylan Evans, on LinkedIn. You can find their company, Simple Salt, on LinkedIn. Go to their website. Actually, he has a really great video when you go to their website about, when you pop over to the website, he's got a great video about security. So connect with Dylan. His company is something that you really need to check out. And he's going to be growing his company, and leadership is a good part of that. So Dylan, thank you for being a guest.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacqueline. It is so much fun to talk about this stuff. And yeah, I have every expectation that 2025 will be a fun and exciting year, and I will learn many new things about how to be better.
That's great. This is the Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight podcast. If you have a leadership story or a company that has a great leadership story, please head over to leaptoyoursuccess.com and go to /podcast and fill out the application to be a guest. And also, as you're listening, please share this and subscribe so that you can be aware of all the great episodes that we have coming out. And everybody, be unstoppable. I'm Jacqueline Strominger, your host, and thank you very much. I'm Jacqueline Strominger, and I want to thank you so much for listening to the Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight, Influential Leaders and Their Game-Changing Insights podcast. If you are a successful CEO, entrepreneur, or leader in your industry, and you have insights you would like to share, we want you to be a guest on this program. So please visit go.leaptoyoursuccess.com/podcast. And if you have gotten something out of this interview and you'd like to share the episode on social media, just go ahead and take a screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on socials. If you know somebody who would be a great guest, please tag them on social media and let them know about the show and include the hashtag Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight. I love seeing your posts and your guest suggestions. So we regularly are putting out new episodes and content. So please make sure you don't miss any episodes and go ahead and hit subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they mean so much to me and my team. You want to know more about the podcast or about Leap to Your Success? Just go to the website leaptoyoursuccess.com or follow me, Jacqueline Strominger, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Just plug in my name, Jacqueline, that's JACLYN, Strominger, STROMINGER, and follow me on all the socials. So thank you so much for listening, and remember, be unstoppable.